Legislator Carrie A. Salages. Is that a yes? I know.
He's coming.
Okay, thank you. Substituting in legislature, we have Sheila Bino.
Here.
Thank you. Legislator Stephen Rhodes. Substituting for legislator Denise Ford is legislator Denise Ford. For Rose Walker, correct, sorry. Vice Chairman Dennis Dunn. And Chairwoman Laura Schaefer. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, we have to untable this item. I'm going to make a motion to untable it.
So moved.
Motion made by Legislator Rhodes. Seconded by Legislator Walker. All in favor of untabling the item, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We have one item on the agenda. Okay, so the item is now on the floor. Do we have anybody here to testify on this item?
Good afternoon, legislators. Kevin Walsh from the Office of Real Estate Services.
How are you?
You have an item before you. Actually, it's an ordinance for a few contracts. There's actually a contract for sale to sell property and an intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Hempstead. This is relating to 100 Main Street, a retail office building in Hempstead that the county acquired in late December 2014 for non-payment of taxes. The county worked with the village, worked out an intermunicipal agreement to take the building that was basically in foreclosure and hopefully will be sold. We issued 2 RFPs and have recommended it to be awarded to Namdar Realty Group, who's owned many other similar buildings, both on Long Island and nationally, and we hope to get this building, back to productive use, back on the tax rolls, and move forward. Any questions?
Legislator Bino? Thank you, Chair.
Hi, Mr. Walsh, how are you today?
Hello, legislator.
I have some questions regarding the transaction, and I guess I want to start with getting some clarity on the exact amount that HUD would be repaid out of the proceeds.
Yes, as of September 15th, I have, and give you, I guess, an exact number as of that date, and it should be pretty much the same. The principal is about $2,944,000. The interest is just less than $200,000, $199,000. So the total payoff, I guess, principal and interest as of mid-September is $3,143,432. Obviously, that could change if we don't close. Our goal is to close in this month. In the staff summary, you will see that I estimated the payoff of the Section 108 loan to be a little bit more, $3,350,000. The reason for that is, in addition to closing costs, which I don't think will be that significant, there are defeasance costs because the HUD loan is part of, I guess, pool of other loans, just like a bond, like any bond. There are costs too. HUD will have costs, which we have not got exact numbers, but we've been told it will be approximately $200,000 to defease these bonds for this purpose.
Okay, that clears up my confusion, because on certain documents I saw it as 3.1 and on other documents 3.3.
Right.
Okay, all right, so, and the closing costs, or the cost that the county has approximated as $60,000, is that a close figure? I mean,
that's a close figure. I think what that is made up of is a combination of legal fees. We engaged an outside attorney, as did the village, to represent us in the negotiation of the IMA. But also, when we took title to this property in December 2014, we did it through a treasurer's deed, a tax deed. We wanted to confirm that we had good title, marketable title, so we convey it free of liens. So we retained an attorney to bring it to call an action, a quiet title, to serve all the people that may have an interest in this building. This building has a long history of a lot of various tenants, people that owners interest in the building. In addition to that, I'm hoping I could use some of it, the IMA spells out a lot of the details, things like if there's any, fees for commissions or things like that, but I estimated it would be about $60,000, also maybe like appraisal cost, it's about $3,000. And then the balance of the proceeds out of the $4 million will be split between the county and the village, 57% to the county, 43% to the village. Just so you know, historically, there were tax liens outstanding on this property, over $4.5 million to the county, and I believe the village could probably speak to this, but I think it was over $3 million to the village as well.
And so the approximate figures on that split, 57, have you done that number as well?
I don't have a breakdown, but that is the percentage of the breakdown between the two parties we negotiated.
All right, so there are current tenants in there, and there's a property manager, obviously, that you're looking to extend the contract until which time this property is sold. So there would have been rent collected up until the point of, I guess, the sale. So do we have an idea of what that amount is that the property manager would have on the books or on the account?
Yes,
and how that would be split?
the property manager does have to account to us by quarterly reports each month, and he has to pay, he insures the building, pays all the charges on the building. Currently, the building, I believe, is only about 37% occupied. We've lost a lot of tenants because what happened when we took title in December 2014, all the tenants became month-to-month tenants. So some tenants decided, with the future being uncertain, not to stay in the building. The property manager collects all the revenues, pays out all the expenses, and any monies, including, he's also held money because the building been in receivership from about 2006 through 2014. All those monies go in the pot, and the intermunicipal agreement spells out how that money is dispersed. Priority one, pay off the HUD 108 loan and all expenses. Number two, the county closing costs, and then third is the split between the county and the village.
Okay, so it goes all into the same pool.
That's correct.
Right.
The IMA has been approved and executed by the village and the village CDA.
Do we have an idea of exactly to this quarter or the last quarter what the property manager estimated the amount that was on account there?
For rent, I believe the total rent for 15, I can give you a number there, maybe work from that. I think it was approximately, gross income was about $900,000 for income. Obviously, you have expenses, everything from the repairs, the maintenance, the insurance on the building. The county's holding some of the money for reserve. We've made no major capital improvements to the building, we're not really, the county doesn't hold many commercial buildings like this. Is kind of like a foreclosure workout. All those monies have to be accounted for and worked through the closing and they be distributed through the municipal agreement, which spells it out pretty clearly, I believe.
Okay, I would like a copy of, I guess, the last quarterly report that the county received.
Sure, I can get you that, absolutely.
And I also don't believe that all of the tenants, so I want to talk about the tenants in the building at this point. I believe that some of the tenants that are there have, I know one in particular has asserted that he has a lease that runs through 2018. So I really have a concern as to what's going to happen to the existing tenants that are there, and if there's been any communication between the county and the prospective buyer relative to those tenants.
Yes, obviously we don't have a contract that's executed yet, so he's not, the prospective purchaser can't speak yet as an owner of the building. And the owner is not here today, but he's traveling. Like I said, he owns many buildings, but I have his representative who's here, maybe can answer that question.
That would be great. Come on.
Hi, my name is Richard Somak, and to answer your question regarding the tenants, I think what he wants to do initially is just assess what tenants are even there, who wants to stay, who wants to go. He's the type of owner that wants to keep the tenants, but he has not spoken to any of the tenants, so he doesn't even know who he's got and what they're thinking. So I think that's what he wants to do once he gets ownership.
Good afternoon. So I understand that the seller's intent or it's his, I guess, best practice to attempt to work out, I guess, a new
Yeah, there
lease?
would be no reason why he would want to kick any of the tenants out. I mean, it would be the only revenue stream he's got. So I think that's what his intention was going to be.
And what is the intended use of the property?
That's a great question. I think that, you know, he's going back and forth with a lot of different ideas as far as maybe something in the medical, something in the educational. There was a school in there. That would be his preference. Any kind of office tenant, you're across the street from the courthouses. So I think he wants to assess the damage first to see what he needs to do to get it to it currently is, I would say, a C- to a D building quality-wise. He wants to put the money into it to get it up and then start bringing tenants through.
So we don't think that there'll be any future requests for a variance or change to the local municipality?
At this point, I don't think so. I mean, currently it's a zone business, which gives you a pretty broad.
Correct. I believe it's own business, pretty broad spectrum. I know that the village has now downtown overlay zones. The way I've read those to be, they're very, very flexible with use. The village obviously still has control of zones and change of zones and so forth. So they'll clearly be working with the village, especially if there's any change in use. Like I said, first of all, the building's predominantly retail. I know there was McDonald's there. I believe it's now Dunkin' Donuts, a couple small restaurants, a couple of travel agencies, a sneaker place. I know the second floor has been predominantly vacant. Some of that space is raw space to be developed. There used to be a medical clinic up there. It looks like an old dentist office in Hempstead Clinic. So the building does have a history of medical use as well. So it sounds like, you know, with the right, you know, money putting in the right way, it's going to attract tenants and hopefully help that part of the village.
Is there any anticipation for pilots, for a request for a pilot to the local municipality?
That was a discussion we had when we were in negotiations, and there is no condition in this contract that conditions the contract in any way, any kind of pilot, IDA or otherwise. I would think it's up to his prerogative if the law would allow him to apply for something, but his indications to me is he intends on, he knows what the numbers were, and to go forward with this on the tax rolls.
Okay, I think you've answered all of my questions. I have one other question, sorry. I didn't have the privilege of touring the facility, but a member of my staff and also of the senior staff did on my behalf. And so there were some concerns that there were potential environmental issues there. Are we aware of those things and we're prepared to deal with them accordingly?
Yes, I walked through with your representatives and others, and yes, there was a lot of issues. Obviously, we walked through the entire building, the roof, I think the basement, and so forth. You know, that's something I think the buyer realizes he's going to have to deal with right away. And, you know, as a seller, you know, you sell property as is where it's. That's the level playing field. One of the things we did in this process, and one of the reasons it did kind of take a lot longer than we anticipated, and this has kind of been from our experience, we didn't want to do a contract that was subject to due diligence and environmental. We asked our short list of proposers to do their environmental investigation up front, so it wouldn't linger on and on. Because I don't want it to be held up by closing, because I'm still not sure what the environmental situation is. I know what's going to cost me. He's done his research. He's done his environmental investigation. He knows what he needs to do, be it, you know, whatever it could be, you know, lead paint, whatever it is in all the building. So that is not a condition for the county. It's going to be passed on to the buyer and the risk he takes on.
Great. So it seems like you did a lot of upfront due diligence on this, including, as you stated, regarding title, to ensure that there is no last-minute liens that we're going to learn about at closing or anything like that. So we're hoping to close at the end of this month. Is that correct?
Right. He's trying to do, I guess, what they call a 1031 like-kind exchange. So we'd like to see if we can get this done in October to close,
Okay.
which is best for, I think, all parties.
Okay. I thank you for your time and answers.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other legislators have questions? Okay. Is there any public comment on this issue?
Yeah. Merida, Baldwin resident. I'm encouraged with regard to the developments with this, and the responses that were received are really the types of responses that I think you all as the elected officials should receive from the individuals who are representing the interests of those in the community. So and I have a lot of history with this particular property, so I'm very happy to see that there's some movement going forward, and I do know that there are some significant environmental issues. I'm hoping that the new owners of the property look at that community in terms of getting the interests and the needs and ties that into the whole downtown renaissance process that's taking place in the village of Hempstead, and it's a very diverse community, so I do hope that all those that are involved with the related projects reflect that diversity, because unfortunately it's still something that I'm fighting diligently for in this county, but particularly in that village of Hempstead, because it has a lot of history, and that property itself has a lot of history, and that we are inclusive of, once again, service-disabled veterans, veteran-owned businesses, minority and women-owned firms, and as I said, that the community has some input with regard to what is going to go into that building and how it is going to be handled. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a Ms. Deborah Urbano DeSalvo here to speak on this?
Yes. My name is Deborah Urbano DeSalvo, I'm the village attorney for the village of Hempstead. This piece of property doesn't fall within the downtown plan overlay zone, however it's adjacent to it. And I would hope that the purchaser of the property does what is expected of those people who are developing within the downtown plan, and that's a minimum of 25% minority hiring. Minority contractors, minority workers, minority laborers. That's very important to a village like Hempstead. Moreover, one of the questions I do have they applied for a pilot in any fashion with either the county or the town at this point? Oftentimes when people are anticipating to purchase, simultaneously they're looking for a pilot. If the developer can respond to that, I would appreciate that. And when do we anticipate this property going back on the tax rolls? And has there been a discussion with your appraiser or my appraiser, because I'm not aware of one, about what the appraised value will be when it does get back on the tax rolls? It's given the fact the current condition of the property, they're going to be filing for a tax certiorari. These are things that are important to us, because we're anticipating this is going to be a property that's going to benefit the village of Hempstead and the village residents, not burden.
Mr. Walsh, do you have any answers to those questions?
Yes, I just wanted to point out again, the prospective purchaser made clear he was not intending to pursue a pilot. In fact, I believe his offer of price was based on that. What was the property will go back on the tax rolls upon closing. It was taken off the tax rolls, in essence, when the county took title in December 2014. But as soon as it closes, it is back on the tax rolls, both for county purposes and village purposes. So hopefully that'll be this month. The value of the building is in the neighborhood of $4.4 million. We believe, but we know tenants have left even since we've had the appraisal update. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
There being no other comments on this ordinance?
I'm here.
Oh.
This is
Okay. All those in favor of passing ordinance number 409-16, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the item passes unanimously. Okay, may I have a motion to close planning? Moved by legislator Rhodes, seconded by legislator Dunn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next. Public Works is up next.